Welcome to another episode of Diet Praxis, my amateur political podcast where I discuss matters of politics with friends and foes, then distill our conversation into one brief diet praxis maxim. Insight or oversimplification, you decide.
Diet Praxis. It's a podcast for you.
Today my guest is Alana Crape, a peer of mine at Brown University whose interest in floral arrangements has given me an interesting challenge to link craft to politics. Alana, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Ellen. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to finally be on Diet Praxis.
So what's the link here that's going to come out of our partnership? The link between politics and flowers, my first thought was just weddings and gay marriage, but I don't know if you had anything in mind.
Something that's been on my mind, honestly, is the concept of floral diplomacy, which I had never heard of before, but is apparently a whole thing in and of itself that politicians and diplomats consciously engage in. I mean, a book actually just came out recently by this florist who used to work in the White House for like 10, 20 years, and she kind of dives deep into the ways that flowers themselves become like a form of political messaging. I mean, there's this picture that I saw when I was doing research for my presentation from the 1938 Munich agreements, and it's like Hitler and Mussolini and Champlain sitting around a table, and there's this like floral arrangement of carnations, like this huge arrangement in this bowl on the table. And it's really quite a harrowing image. I mean, carnations typically symbolize devotion, loyalty, and commitment, and white carnations in particular signal innocence, purity, and remembrance. And there's something kind of quietly sinister about the presence of these flowers in this picture. I mean, they're bearing witness to this huge historical moment in which Hitler essentially plans his occupation of Czechoslovakia.
Absolutely. I mean, now that I think about it, there's probably a million times that flowers have served as bystanders or observers for some of the most important events in history.
Yeah, I mean, even today, NASA still receives flowers every year on the anniversary of the Challenger disaster. They get sent, one white rose for every single astronaut.
Wow, that's impactful.
Oh my God. I mean, remember that photograph of Jackie Kennedy and she's like wearing that pink suit? Mm-hmm. I mean, the photograph that went on a lot of the papers wasn't that picture of her, climbing over the car to reach his body. It was from earlier in the day. She's getting off the plane and she's in that pink suit and it's Chanel and she's like holding this bouquet of roses.
I'm gonna look up the photo real quick, because there's also yellow roses in the photo of her in the car, too.
Really? Wait, can I see?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. It looks like there is a bouquet sitting in the car with her. She was surrounded by roses that day. It seems kind of strange that something that symbolizes love is so closely surrounding death.
Yeah, well, yes or no. I mean, the color yellow in both roses and carnations sometimes can be interpreted to symbolize like disappointment, fear, rejection. I mean, the carnations in the picture with Hitler could very well be yellow. The photo's in black and white. I mean, we don't really know. But yeah, going off of that, it's interesting how eager I think our society is to dilute this messaging within flower languages into kind of purely a romantic notion when there's such a long history of flowers operating as covert communication devices, or even omens or like prophecies, like in the case of Jackie Kennedy.
The pink suit goes better with the yellow flowers than the pink suit goes with the red flowers, so I wonder why she had the yellow roses then in the car when she had the red roses before at the airport. Did they get switched out for dramatic effect?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably likely that multiple people gave them bouquets that day and they only had room in the car for one of them. But I was also thinking that maybe we could discuss the NASA thing.
They couldn't let her keep the red roses because they knew there would be blood.
What do you mean?
I mean, they couldn't let her keep the red roses because the blood was coming.
Um,
Flowers are for beginnings and endings. They mark important events, they symbolize our commitment to those events. If you imagine that photograph with Hitler and Mussolini, it would have been a real different photograph without that bouquet centerpiece.
yeah, I think that the flowers serve to not only make evil acts of war seem commonplace or necessary, but also to make it seem as if they're coming from a place of authority. I mean, these decisions are coming from money. They're steeped in money, and we're supposed to conceive of money as being the same thing as dignity or even trustworthiness.
But the flowers themselves are the acts of war.
Yeah, right. But I mean, as we were saying, it's interesting to think about the presence of flowers in relation to these historical events as kind of a more complicated semiotics.
Yeah, semiotics, I mean, symbols, but flowers are a universal symbol that have been accessed again and again, which is why I think, I mean, you'll have to tell me what you think about this, but I'm beginning to think some of the conspiracies about symbol are true. Symbol is a functional mechanism. These flowers are not existing in a diplomatic context only, but a causal context.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. I mean, I haven't heard from her since we did that podcast thing the other day, and she was acting so strange. I mean, she was originally saying all of this stuff about how we needed to get back in touch and catch up. But then once we started having the podcast conversation, she would not let me get off topic. I mean, it's I offered to help her edit out the extraneous parts later, but she literally would not talk about any.
And some people are saying, I'm not saying that I agree with this, I'm just saying that some people are saying this. There's connections between these events, the JFK assassination, the Challenger explosion, the Munich Agreement, and the connection is obviously the presence of the roses. Maybe the American government is signaling something through the presence of the roses, or the flowers themselves have been, made into a kind of weapon of bioterrorism. Just think about how easy it is to deliver an inhalant through a rose. It's a universal signal. It invites you to smell it. It produces the scent. So the thought that in terms of vehicles for chemical rose, we were born to smell roses. Bioterrorism is something that we should all be worried about, especially now with all the climate change. I mean, it was cute in the 90s to be afraid of opening your mail, but the fact is there's much more in the world now being uncovered that wants to kill you, or just make you go crazy. Oh, and I wanted to thank you for the bouquet you sent me, the roses. I got it just this morning. And now it's time for the Diet Praxis Maxim.
There is poison in the flowers. Do not go outside. There is poison in the flowers. Do not go outside. Do not go outside. Do not.